Welcome to our program on Kardec Radio.
Hello, everyone. Good to have you here. Tuesday. It's not sunny, but it's warm enough and rainy outside. Good to have you all here, Wanderley and I am Wanderley. Wanderley here. So good to share this moment with you all. And as we know, we are studying the Gospel according to Spiritism, chapter 8, item 8 today. We'll see, like perhaps we go to 8 to 11, something like this. And if you have any questions, if you have any doubts, please don't be shy, write in the comment, help us to make this study here more interactive, and your help is more than needed. Okay. So, shall we start? Let's give more 1 minute. Meanwhile, Wanderley, could you do the initial prayer for us?
Sure.
Great.
So, I'd like to invite everyone to close their eyes. Just take a deep breath. Trying to calm down our mind and our hearts. And also thanking God for the lives we have, for another day, another hour, another minute here on earth, which is this great school to us, Spirits in Progress. Let's be thankful for everything that we have here, the good and the bad things. Let's be thankful for the mentors that we have who are all the time helping us, suggesting, even if most of the time we do not perceive their inspirations. We can be sure they are beside us, helping us, trying to guide us in order that we pass through this life in the best way possible. May the good spirits be with us and light our mind and our hearts in this study again. Thank God for the opportunity of the work here. So be it.
Amen. Great. So, in chapter 8, we are talking about the blessed are the pure of the heart. And our item 8 bring us to the purity unclean hands. That's kind of tricky today because we need to wash our hands every day, all the time. We can say this at least this title here is up to date. Yeah. But the reason we have this story here is because the Pharisees they came to Jesus and asking him why the disciples violated the tradition, and because they didn't wash their hands before they eat the meals. But before we go to this, it's good to remember that the Pharisees, it's kind of the people who are not rebel, but they are stick to what was written. They are against any kind of innovation or think outside of the box. They were strict.
Stick to the Mosaical law, the law from Moses.
Mosaical law, exactly. Yeah. So they it is there, it is there, it is not there, it's wrong. More or less like this. That is not like maybe let's talk, let's have a conversation. And Jesus, when he came, he kind of he didn't go against the Mosaic law, but he was teaching love. He was teaching something in complement with the Mosaic law, in which requires everyone get rid of what they are practicing up to that time, and now they need to review their concepts. I think that's the word. They need to review their concepts. Okay, so and brilliantly, Jesus said, "What is the most important is not what get in the mouth, but is what is come out of the mouth." Because the point here is, I am a spiritist. I read all the Kardec's books. I read everything. I do my prayers. But I treat my neighbor as bad as possible. You don't apply those lessons on your daily basis. You don't concur with these concepts, these teachings. Like it's like you go for the Catholics, like they go to the church every Sunday. They spend 45 minutes, 1 hour in the mass. They agree with the priest's sermon, but when they are out of the church, they do not practice what was discussed. And this applies to any kind of religion. And we will talk more a little bit about religion a little bit further. But Wanderley, I'm looking forward to see what you think about.
See, going back to what you were saying about the Pharisees, it's so nice because even the Gospel according to Spiritism here, when Kardec goes back to the historical facts, he explains to us that the meaning of a Pharisee means division. So as Stevan was saying, there were those ones who only followed the Mosaical law and the law of some prophets of the Old Testament. So for them, not as Stevan said, if it wasn't there, it's not correct. So they were the kind of group which they were there to create division among people. They weren't really there to try to, as Stevan said, to see a different point of view. Because once you think in the historical facts, some historians, they even say that Jesus belongs to the Essenians or Essenes, which they were Jewish also, but they were more like open-minded. They were more like towards love. That's why some historians, they believe that Jesus comes from them because they had the knowledge of love there also. But that knowledge, once we read the book of, I forgot her name, brought from the Spirit, Barçanufo, we understand why the Essenes, they have their knowledge of love, because that knowledge of love came from Jesus, not from the Essenes. But in the book, I wish you guys read the book, which is translated is the Long Wait, or A Grande Espera. It's a beautiful book which talks about these historical facts in the time of Jesus. But we have to understand that here in the time of Jesus there, as Stevan was saying, everything which would go against the Pharisees, the traditions, for them was wrong. And Jesus, as Stevan said also, he wasn't saying that, oh, Moses is wrong. But Jesus was saying, yes, Moses is correct, but he's corrected, or he was corrected from that time. The time of Moses, between Moses and Jesus, we have like 1,000 years. So in the Gospel according to Spiritism, the Spirits explains to us that the Mosaical time was the correct time for the time of Moses, because the Spirits, they were too rebel. They were people who only thought about the exterior. And here in this passage, here everything's about this. So the Pharisees, they thought everything which is in the exterior, if it's clean, it's all right. Like Stevan was saying, was someone like inside, they have a lot of bad thoughts. They do hidden actions, hidden wrong actions. So once no one is watching them, everything which they do comes from their heart. And because they still have a heart full of imperfections, their attitudes, their actions are imperfect actions. So they hurt the others, as Stevan was saying. They care about going to the church, but they don't care about their neighbors. If we put nowadays, guys, let's bring this passage to the days of today. So they would be those ones who perhaps would go to the Spirit Center or go to the church, or even if doesn't go to any religious place, they would be those ones who at work, they are so nice, they are helpful, they are nice to everyone. They like animals, they like to be defending certain causes, but inside of their houses, they are those ones who sometimes they would fight with their partner or their kids, or maybe sometimes with their parents. They would, instead of looking after their parents, they would say, no, put that old person in the house. I forgot the name of the house. Their houses, Steven, I don't know.
The house?
House for older people, when adults, they leave their parents who are quite old.
Oh, there's elderly places, they call no.
Elderly place. So they are those ones, instead of looking after their parents, they put their parents on the side. They are those ones, once they go on Facebook or Instagram, they create a lot of wars, or Twitter, they type really bad messages. And Jesus is talking about this. If you are someone who in front of people, you are someone who is, we can put in this way, someone like a
Linda helped us, nursing homes.
A nursing home. Thank you, Linda. Yeah, I forgot the name of the place. So if you are someone who is a clean cloth outside, but inside, because he has an expression here, sepulcro caiado. I think I made it here. Now you're inside. I forgot here. There's an expression here in the gospel when he says that we are clean outside and dirty inside. And Jesus is talking with the Pharisees, because the Pharisees were like this. He's trying to say to people, hey, you should be honest. You should be who you are all the time, everywhere. And you should be someone who is really trying to improve yourself, not to pretend that you are good for the others, but inside, in your private place, you are someone who can be even sometimes a psychopath, someone who hurts the others and don't care. So Jesus is trying to bring that to us. That's why here, Kardec and the spirits, they bring this part, and Kardec mentions, we are not here to point fingers, but in this case, especially in the book Heaven and Hell, he mentions a lot the Catholic Church, because the Catholic Church in Europe, they were like this. They have their rituals, they have their traditions. So everyone who followed their rituals and traditions, they were okay for the church. So the church said, you are blessed. But inside, they only used to do terrible things for themselves, and for the others. A lot of them who were in the church in that time, they used to be slavery people. When the Portuguese, they came in South America, in Brazil, or Spanish in Spain, they killed a lot of Indians, because they said Indians have no spirits. And Jesus is saying that to us, don't do it. Don't be dirty outside, don't be clean outside, and clean outside and dirty inside. That's why he's pushing us. And he says here, Every plant that my heavenly Father has not planted will be uprooted. Leave them, they are blind guides. If a blind man leads a blind man, both will fall into a pit. So he said to us, every plant that my heavenly Father does not plant will be uprooted, saying that every law, every tradition, every custom that we create in order to favor us and our group and our society, and we say that is because of God, all these things, they will be destroyed by time, because these things weren't created by God. These traditions, the mosaico law, part of the mosaico law, not everything, of course, it was created by Moses. And all these things throughout time have been vanished. So all of the traditions that we created, our ways of living, these things, they will vanish also. So once we think nowadays about the ways in which our society are dealing in terms of racism, in terms of minorities, in terms of immigrants, in terms of asylum seekers, all of the things, because these things, they are things which only favors some part of the society. These things will be gone with future, because these things, they do not represent the law of God, which is the law of love. That's why he says that there are blind men, there are blind people guiding other blind people, because whoever is following certain traditions, they're just following. So he's saying to us, don't follow, question, use your thinking, your rational thinking. That's why Kardec always talk about rational faith. We should, instead of follow, we should think, why do I have to follow this tradition? Why do I have to do this? Why do I have to do this? So everything that we see, which is not related to do good to ourselves and the others, basically Jesus is saying, everything will be gone. Because everything turns around only one thing, which is the law of love.
Mm-hmm.
And the Pharisees had no love inside of their heart. They only had the idea of pretending being good people. So if you're not really good inside, you are in big trouble. Go ahead, Stevan.
No, yes, it is a good discussion, and we need to understand that the Christ's moral doctrine or moral teachings, whatever name you, it's put at second place. They were more worried about tradition. They were more worried about following rules, like if the rules will take them to heaven, instead of doing good to the neighbor. So then we can talk a little bit, because I want to read it here, because I don't want to leave any doubts, or someone say it's my words or Wanderley words. It's Kardec words. Kardec says here, the Spirit says here, the purpose of religion is to lead people to God, but people cannot reach God unless they are perfect. Consequently, any religion that does not enable people to become better does not meet its objective.
That's it.
Yeah, I read it. Oh, Stevan said, no, Stevan didn't say anything, I don't have enough background to say something like that, but it's here. So the intention here is not making people who, here is not army. You need to follow the rules and that's it. The thing here is make people better. Otherwise, we won't reach God. So the question is, are you a better person since you choose the new, since you woke up to a religion? I'm not judging here any kind of religion here. But the question you need to make to yourself is, am I a better person that I was like 2 years ago, 1 month ago, 5 years ago? If you answer yes, thumbs up, keep going, keep doing exactly what you are doing. If the answer is no, do not change religion, but analyze what is missing. Where is the gap? What do you need to do? Is this gap caused because you cannot? Is because caused by you, or can you do something? Can you contribute with something? Can you make this gap covered? And then I would say, if you try to do everything you could in order to fill these gaps and didn't work, then perhaps you need to look outside. Again, Spiritism is not a being spirit is not a being converted. Spirit doesn't want to convert anybody. That's not the point. Spiritism wants to make people better. That's the objective of the Spiritism. Make people better, because being better, transforming our hearts, transforming our mindsets, transforming our way we can see the world, this is going to lead us to God, with or without religion.
Yep.
Did I say something wrong?
No, you didn't, but I made this note. I was going to say this part that you said here, and even this part here about religion, I used in my documentary about Umbanda, which is a Brazilian African religion, which I'm not part of, but I did a documentary about this, and I use this phrase in the end of the documentary because I think it's a really powerful phrase here from Kardec. The objective, because religion means to reconnect, to religare, reconnect us with God. But as Stevan said, you can be an atheist and be connected with God. How can you be an atheist connect with God? Are you crazy? Because you need a religion to connect with God. No. You need to be good. Because some people, they follow no religion. They don't like even to hear the word of Christ. It's up to them. There is no problem. But they are moral people. There are people who are helping the others. There are people who are trying to do their best, not only for them. They are giving what they have and sharing with the others. And they don't care about religion. They don't fight against, but they don't care. But here is Stevan, before the spirits, they say the original simple substance became lost beneath the complicated forms of ritual. As it was much easier to practice stereo cult than to clean, to work on a moral effect reform. So it's much easier for us to follow something to change ourselves inside. Because if I follow Spiritism, Stevan, and let's say if I do something wrong, I'm going to say, Kardec said this. But Jesus said that in the Bible. But Buddha says that. But Krishna says this. But Muhammad, the prophet, said that. So if there is something wrong, it's with them, it's not with me. That's why here, Jesus said before, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. That's why Kardec said in the Millions book, which came later on came to the Gospel according to Spiritism, a message which is believed to be from Jesus himself when he says, Spiritists, I have one new commandment for you. Love one another. And the second commandment is study. So the spirits are saying to us, we have to be good, we have to love one another, but we have to study, to don't follow in the traps that we are having here, that we have in religions. Not all religions, of course, but each religion, that's my personal opinion, that's not related to Kardec, but here, in the phrase which I read here in the Gospel in the item 10, I'd say it has a bit of this. All religion has a bit of humankind on it. So each religion has a bit of someone from the past, who gave their ideas. Like we have in the Jewish tradition, we have a lot of ideas of Moses, which did not come from God. We're not judging who are we to judge Moses? No, we are not judging those who were before us. But what we are saying is that all religion, they have a bit of humankind, because that religion was from Middle East. That religion was from the cold place. So Kardec explains
we
to
kind
us
of
that,
humanize.
yeah, we humanize. Yes, thanks, Stevan. So depending on where you came from, if I'm from a jungle, let's say the Indians back in Brazil, they saw God in a different way that the people from Jesus' time saw, because where Jesus used to live was dry, was very hot, very warm. Food wasn't everywhere. There was no plants. But for the Indians, oh, God was love. God was the best guy in the world, because they have fruits everywhere. They have waterfalls. They could swim. They could fish. So for them, God was, woohoo, he was the man. In the Middle East, no, God is a harsh man. God is a man who will punish you. Maybe in India, they see God in a different way. Maybe in Asia, where they have more or less a different climate, which has many levels of cold and hot, is a kind of climate which is more balanced. Maybe they see God a different way. What we are trying to say is this: we choose. We have in the Bible, in the Old Testament, when it says that God created man according to his appearance. And that phrase for me is kind of wrong. We created God according to our appearance and will. What we are trying to say is this. Yes, yeah. Because we created the things. We humanized God and said, God is a white man with beard. Why no one said that God was a black man? Why?
Or as a woman.
Or was a woman. Thank you, Stevan. Thank God many religions believe that God is more like a woman. Like we see in that movie and in that book, I think it's The Shark, Stevan, a cabana.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I think it's The Shark, guys. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it's The Shark.
Yeah, I'm going to find here. But in that book, it's amazing because God is a woman and is a black woman. So the author tries to go against everything that we believe, in a way that the author is trying to challenge us, to challenge our ways of seeing things, to challenge our ways, our prejudices inside of us. So we created God in the way that we believe. If you see God nowadays as a man with white beard, it's because someone before created, and we are just following this idea.
Is the Shack name?
The Shack. Thank you very much, Stevan. The Shack. There is the book and there is the movie. It's really nice, guys. It's a really nice movie. So we see Jesus in the paintings as a blonde guy with blue eyes. Guys, Jesus was dark skinned for sure. He was probably like a man of his time in the Middle East, dark skin. Yes, maybe he had long hair. There was no problem about this, but he's not this European one that we painted throughout of time, which Catholic Church has painted in the Renaissance. Okay, so Kardec here, the spirits are challenging us to go over the appearances, everything about here, item 8 until item end of item 10 is about this. It's about the appearance. That's why here he says in the last part of item 10, the mere appearance of pureness is not enough, because above all else, it's necessary to have a pure heart. So you can appear to be the good guy, but if your heart is not pure, and how can we know if our heart is pure or not? Out of our actions, guys. That's why Jesus said, blessed are the pure in heart. Who are the pure in heart? The good ones. Those who practice charity. Those who are not perfect, because he didn't say, blessed are the perfect. No, because Jesus knew that here on earth, there was only himself who was perfect. He knew that. So he wasn't expecting us to be perfect. But he's expecting us to keep trying to improve our heart, to become nicer, to try to learn how to forgive, to try to learn how to let things go. What do you think, Stevan?
No, I think like if since God is love, since God is the perfection, no, like the first cause of everything, the least important thing is his gender, his faith, his color. This is the least important, and this is the way we needed to walk towards ourselves. It's not the color of a person, the sexual option of a person does not define anything, does not make it a better person or a worse person, not at all. And why we will have these preconcepts, and Wanderley well said, God made us as his copy. No. We created God. We humanized God too much, which God in which this God has more problems or imperfections as we have. Let's see what's Linda saying here. People I know want to continue to use old traditions from old spirit center that is no longer open. I think we need to change. Hard to convince people. Yes, I don't know what you mean, Linda, about old tradition from old spirit centers, but I truly believe Spiritism. There is no rituals, no dogmas, no nothing. What I can imagine here, someone perhaps in order to feel better, they need to go to a spirit center to receive a healing. But this is the person, it's not the spirit center. Because we can have a healing in our home. It's just the connection here. And this is what we need to learn. But feeling, reading what you said here, and convince someone to stop doing this, to do that, is the worst thing ever. I would say ourselves, like when you used to drive from home to work, we always use the same road, the same way, and we don't change it. We don't look for alternatives. I am kind of old, not you guys. Wanderley, he was driving his motorbike in São Paulo. At that time, we didn't have Waze, we didn't have Google Maps, nothing. We need to know the streets by our head. We need to try to find shortcuts, try to find different ways in order to avoid traffic, to avoid accidents, flooding, all these things. So the same thing applies to us. We don't have a Waze, we don't have a Google Maps or Apple Maps showing to us, oh, you need to do this. There is no formula to become a better person. The only thing is try. We are in different levels. We already studied this here. We have different concepts. We have different moments. So we need to practice. We need to put our hands on and use our judgment. This judgment we have about ourselves, it is what makes us progress or not. About the book The Shack, or the movie The Shack, it's not a spiritist movie, but the part of the judgment is wonderful.
Yeah.
It is wonderful, in which they say we judge someone based on what I know. So I have in my mind, based on my experiences, what is right, what is wrong. And this allow me in quotes, to judge Wanderley if what he is doing is right or wrong. But Wanderley didn't have the same experience that I had. Perhaps for him, what I'm doing and I think is right, for him is wrong, and the other way around. That's why the first thing in order to become a better person is stop judging people. And this judgment make the scandals. Because say we needed to avoid the scandal. No, like if your hand is a cause of a scandal, take it out. So then we start a little bit on item 11, and it's important to say scandal means every action that shocks morality or decency in an ostensive way. So this is what is scandal. Also, the scandal does not lie in the action per se, but in the repercussion it might have. So it brings us to watch what we are doing. Are we causing a scandal? Are we causing a problem? Are we creating a nightmare? In which purpose? Why are we having this? So I always like that. I think I said last week this example from Chico Xavier, but I will say it again. I don't mind to repeat, because I need this repeat every time for myself. A reporter, a journalist, asked Chico Xavier if he was sad, with all the bad things people are doing against him, articles trying to prove that he was a charlatan, or all these things, And he said, of course, I am sad with that, but I will be more sad if I am the one who is causing this. So the point here is, are you responsible for a revolution? Are you responsible for a revolution towards the people surrounding you? You must be responsible for a revolution in your life. You needed to do a revolution in your life. Change your concepts. Try this. It's wrong. Fix. Try the other way. Go. Keep going. So you are responsible with you. But when it involves third parties, then we needed to hold on. After chamomile tea, what do you think, Wanderley?
No, Stevan, it's nice because when we bring about the scandal, we have that part in the gospel when Jesus said, as you said, the scandal or the evil, because some translations they say scandal, some translations they say the evil. It must come, but poor of those who bring that. Like Chico Xavier said, "Oh, I feel sad about this, but I didn't want to be the one who is doing this." Why Jesus would say that? Because he understood that in the level that we all must have expiations and trials in order to progress. He knew that. So he knew that the evil or the scandal will come to each one of us. So bad things will happen to us. But why is bad things happening to us? Because we are still imperfect spirits. So most of the time, 99% of the time, we need to have tribulations in our life, expiations in our life, in order to learn the good lesson, which, like Stevan said, is one of them. Do not judge the others, to try to be kind to one another, But so he understood that there was no way of we, the, don't we. He knew that at some stage we would have to go through to the troubles that we caused. But he said before also that I am the good shepherd. Whoever stays with me, whoever listens to my voice, will be able to follow the good path. I am the good shepherd, and the good shepherd is ready to die for the sheep. So he said, I'm willingly to do my best. Of course, we know that he was crucified, but what I believe he's trying to say that I'm willing to be here to do my best, to help you guys until you guys progress. So he told us that a lot of bad things probably will happen. Why? Is because God is bad? No, because that's the level that we are. We are just reflecting the choice that we made before. But at the same time, he said, I'm going to be with you until the end of times, until you progress. So Jesus is trying to bring to us a sense that we're going to have difficult times, but we're not going to pass through these difficult times alone. That's why, he always says to us, be strong, be diligent, try to go, do not stop. Because Stevan said, and I agree and disagree, and I know why he said this, when he said, there is no recipe in order to us to progress. I understand what Stevan said, but I must say that there is a recipe, and the recipe is given by Jesus, which is love one another, do good things, trying to respect, trying to forgive. Maybe someone who doesn't know how to respect much because of some issue, that person then can maybe learn how to forgive a little bit. Maybe everything which Jesus said to us, for some of us, still very far. There is still just lessons in a book. But once we have an open heart, and this open heart, guys, I have terrible news to give you guys, will come, even if you want or if you don't want. Because sometimes we are so hard. We say, I don't want to do this. I'm never going to forgive Stevan, for example. Stevan did that with me. I'm never going to forgive him. I'm never going to do this. I'm never going to do this. Then life, after some time, gives to us a situation where who is going to be the only one who is going to be helping me? Is Stevan. But Stevan is the one who I said I would never forgive. So life finds ways to put aggressor and victim at the same time together, in the same situation, I mean. So even if you don't want to change, you will change. Because everything is progressing. So if someone asks me, is there any recipe for happiness? I say yes. Be kind, be good, and everything is consequence. But what I believe people they want is not the recipe of happiness. They want to follow. They want to come in in airplane. They want to buy the cheapest flight from Ryanair, but at the same time they want the cheapest one. They don't want to pay any tax. They want to get into the Ryanair airplane and hope that in the Ryanair airplane, which there is none, as long as I know, there is no first class, and they hope that there will be a problem and they're going to be transferred to the first class. What I'm trying to say is this: we hope to do the minimum in order to get the maximum, to get the most. And life doesn't work like this. So the recipe for happiness is to do good, but the recipe for happiness is part of doing a lot. That's why Jesus said to us, if you want to be the greatest in heaven, be the one who serves the most. Who wants to serve? No one. We all want to get likes. We all want to get nice views. We all want to get a lot of friends. We all want to get the nicest body ever. You know, six-pack abs. We all want to have like the best jobs. But who wants to study? Who wants to go and do exercise or whatever? Or who wants to go the hard times in order to get something good? Only a few of us. That's why, guys, there is not many Elon Musk's, Steve Jobs. I'm not saying they're perfect, but for some, these people, the guy Jeff Bezos from Amazon, for some, these people, they are the best because they created a company. I'm not judging, but for me, they are normal people like me and you and Stevan. But they worked hard for what they got, you know? So in order to us to get something, we have to work hard.
Mm-hmm.
There is no chance. But we must remember the basics. And the basics is to be nice to one another. Because you can have the biggest company ever in the world. I'm not judging, okay? But for example, Steve Jobs, you guys can see that in the movie of him. He was someone who couldn't really stay together with his daughter. But he built an empire. Everyone around him, not everyone, but a lot of people, they say that he was a difficult guy to deal with. I'm not judging him at all, guys, believe me. But what I'm trying to say is this: sometimes in life, we put too much energy to conquer things of the material world. And things, Steven has two wonderful daughters. I'm going to ask one thing here, Steven. Steven, would you be the CEO of Amazon? And in 20 years' time, your two ones, Leah and Teteia, do you think would you change all their love to be the CEO of Amazon?
No way.
Some people, they change. They become monsters in their family in order to get something. So what are we choosing?
I can say the best part of this pandemic time is allow me to work from home, and I don't want to go back to the office. I miss the office environment. I miss that. I cannot say to be hypocrite here, but I can see my daughters all the time. I can see they grow. I can see my wife. I can see that. It's not just in the morning, bye, and sometimes how many times I left and they were sleeping, how many times I came back and they were sleeping. So, by the way, guys, the joke Wanderley did with Ryanair, for those who are in America, is the same thing, is equivalent to Southwest. So, it's a low-cost company here. You know, most of people want to use their service, but they think they're using I don't know, American Airlines service, you know, like it is.
Yeah.
You know, but and I love one. I read the other day a message was saying a machine was broken. Okay, and they the company called a technician, an engineer, to fix that machine. And the technician came. He was listening, he was studying, doing a lot of things in the machine without opening it, without fixing that. And suddenly he said, okay, I know what is the problem. He opened his toolbox, take out a hammer, and he just knocked in some place, like a simple knock, boom, and the machine started working. And everybody was happy because the machine is working. Oh, fine. Oh, send me the invoice. Okay, great. Bye. And he sent the invoice, $1,000, 1,000 euros.
That was a long time ago when $1,000 was a lot.
Yeah, well, let's say the $10,000. Let's say $10,000.
Yeah.
Okay, let's increase. Let's be more. $10,000. And when they saw that $10,000, oh, this is too expensive. Come on, the guy just took a hammer and knocked there, and the machine started working, and he's charging me $10,000. And they revert the email and said to the guy, hey, you just used the hammer here. And they make a joke. How bad? I think this hammer is too expensive. And the guy returned the email saying, no, the hammer was the cheapest. The hammer cost is $100. My experience, everything what I have studied in order to know where to hit the hammer, this cost $9,900. So, how many times, and including myself here, we judge people, oh, they're doing this. And perhaps going to be easy, but we don't know what the person have studied. I know people, they are studying a lot, like, for example, Roberta, she put a comment here. Roberta, she's studying a lot, spending many time studying, being away of friends, sometimes being away of parties, of celebrations, and even though staying with friends because she needs to study. The result of this is knowledge. Oh, and people will say, oh, but she's earning like 100,000 euros per month.
I wish.
She's earning, and everybody was jealous, but nobody wants to study what she did. Nobody wants to open give away what she gave away. So that's why we cannot judge anybody. That's why we need to stop this judgment. If you think being a cleaner is easy, go clean a house. 3 houses in 2 hours, 1 hour. How hard it is. I was there. How hard it is to clean the pavements in Army, Wanderley. Doing the cri-cri,
A small thing like this, a piece of metal.
Yeah.
Cleaning between the pavement.
The pavements, and you remove the
grass.
The grass and everything between the pavements. How hard it is.
Are there all day.
Yeah. So the greatest message today is do not judge. Do not judge. I think that's it for today, my friend.
Yeah, I think you closed it well, because going back to what we were saying, the Pharisees, what they did the most was to judge. They were judging everyone in society. Everyone in society. They were the ones who were pointing fingers. Ah, you are doing this. You are doing this. Why don't you do this? Yeah, like this. So I think I like the way that Stevan said that we should. The best thing that we should take from today is remember to don't judge. I think you're correct, Stevan, because once we see, and it's hard for us to don't judge, because why we always gonna tend to our side or to the side of those that we like. We always gonna do this, but sometimes we have to step back and say, okay, even if I love Steven, maybe I'm not gonna say in front of everyone what Steven is doing, but I'm gonna take my phone and say, Steven, what the blah 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 are you doing, man? And as me and Steven, we did so many times.
Are you sure you're going to this path?
I mean, yeah, I would try to do this. Sometimes I would explode. Yeah. I did explode before, but I would try to go and say, Steve, what the hell are you doing, man? So what I'm trying to say is this. The best thing we do, instead of judge, if you have a problem with anyone, go and talk to the person and say, hey, what's going on? Why, or this or that, instead of judging, instead of bringing and saying to the others, oh, that person did this, that person did that, because that's all part of judgment. We think that we know more than the others. We think that we are more right than the others. We think that our pain is bigger than the others, and that's hard not to do it, Stevan.
Wow, this is very difficult to do it. If it's gonna, if it was easy, we should be in a happiest world, like, because it's easy, But the good thing is try. I know it's hard. Someday you're gonna get it. Sometime you don't get it. So no worries. Just try. Every day is a new day to try it again.
I agree.
Okay, so
sorry. So how about next week we start properly?
Chapter 18.
Yeah, but
item 18.
Item 18, yeah. Item 18, yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Roberta. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Leah. Good to have you here with us. Thank you. So again, if you want to be part of the study group, send an email to spiritismisland@gmail.com, and Tanya or Anady will send you the link to be part of the group. So no background required. Just come with open heart. Okay, so let's raise up our thoughts again. Reach out our mentors. Ask them to, not asking, but say thank you for all the efforts, all the battles they need to fight every day in order to support us. Please. Let these good vibrations reach out to all the brothers and sisters who are in need. Any kind of need. Physical need, moral need, spiritual need. May this reach them and help them to evolve and to become a better person. So be it. Amen. Okay. Thank you all. Thank you, Wanderley, once again. I see you
guys.
next Thursday. Thank you. Enjoy.
See you
Bye-bye.
guys. Bye. Good night.